Is it better to rent or buy a house? I hear a lot of people saying that renting is just a waste of money, and if you buy a house, it's a great investment. So what are the pros of renting? So first of all, you can quickly relocate if you need to travel for work. You don't need to hang around trying to sell a house. The initial down payments for renting are much cheaper than buying a house. Like I said, you normally have to pay a month's rent up front. A big one that I encountered quite a few times is that you don't have to pay maintenance for anything that goes wrong, such as my shower broke, the landlord paid for it. The washing machine was dodgy, the landlord paid for it. Basically, if anything breaks, you don't have to pay for it. Also, as a renter, you don't have to worry about the financial risk of your property going down in value because you don't own it. And depending on where you rent, sometimes you might get a gym included or a pool, secure car park. But what about the cons? Obviously, your monthly rent payments don't go towards owning the property at the end. So in my case, and over the 4 years of rent, I must have spent roughly around £35,000 just on rent that I'm not going to get back. You also have the lack of stability because when the lease agreement ends, they don't have to have you back. The rent price could go up and the landlord could just sell the property. And the main one is probably limited control of what you can do. You can't decorate. In my case, I wasn't allowed to hang my washing outside. It had to be inside where it got quite damp. And in some cases, you can't have any pets. But what about buying a house? So the pros of buying a house, your monthly mortgage payments go towards the ownership of the house eventually, which is a good investment and increasing your wealth over time. It's hard stability because there's no risk of you getting evicted. You have complete creative freedom, so you can redecorate, do landscaping outside, maybe get an extension. And obviously over time, your house can increase in value. So when you come to sell it, you make a bit of a profit, which is why people say buying a house is a good investment. But what about the cons? Well, first of all, the upfront costs are a lot more. You have to put down a down payment, which on average is around £10,000, and you have the solicitor costs, which can cost hundreds of pounds. The big one is maintenance. For example, if a washing machine breaks, or there's a leak, or you've got damp, you have to pay for it out of your own pocket, and stuff like that can cost thousands of pounds. Obviously, it's less flexibility because you can't just up and move. You have to sell your house, put it on the property market, which also costs money, wait for a buyer. Hopefully the buyer wants to buy it. And obviously the market risk. The value of your house could also decline. And if you need to sell it in a hurry, you could lose a lot of money. So overall, which is better, renting or buying a house? And obviously it comes down to your own personal preference. Depends where you are in life. Renting a property is perfect for those who value flexibility. It's great if you don't want to have a lot of responsibilities and such as making repairs for maintenance stuff. Maybe your work means you have to travel around the country quite a lot. And obviously it depends on your financial situation. Buying a house is good for people who want a long-term investment, maybe want to stay in one place for the rest of their life, but it does require a lot more money upfront. So there's not really a right answer. It depends on what you want and how you want to live life. Technically, overall, you're probably going to spend more money on buying a house than you are renting, but at the end of the day, you've got no security that you can stay there forever. If you have any questions, leave them below and I'll try and answer them.